Kenner, Metairie, and parts of St. Charles, but it's more so for Kenner and Metairie. And this is going to be moving north at about 35 miles per hour. So these odd movements with these storms continues as this moves towards the north. So let me put a little track on this, or let me show you what we got going on with this. If we put a little track on it, you can see there that area spin really started to ramp up once it crossed from the what it calls South Kenner, and then it moves up over the river, of course moves. All right, so we do have a new tornado warning that has been issued for the metro. This is going to be for this area spin that's right over the airport, going to be moving north. So the areas we're looking at for this tornado warning, a lot of phones are about to go off. I mean, a lot of cell phones are going off in the New Orleans area. And this tornado is mainly going to be right smack dab in the tornado warning itself, or for the tornado warning itself. So it's right over the airport. Here's Metairie, here's River Ridge. This is outside of Metairie, or outside of River Ridge, outside of Harahan down here. Here's Elmwood, of course. Here's the mall. There's Clearview, target right there, heading up towards the west on I-10. That's the airport. So that's where the area spin is going to be now, crossing I-10. So that possible tornado is going to be passing over the airport, heading up over I-10, going to be moving right over right over the Esplanade Mall out here. That's where that's going to be. So right over the Esplanade Mall, that Target's out here. Of course, you've got Walmart out here, the Super Walmart. This is going to be heading up in that area. So now crossing over I-10, heading up towards the old mall out here where Target is, heading up towards the Walmart, which is out here up in parts of Kenner. We've also got of course, the country club out here. That's also an area where this is going to be heading towards. So really, if you live in Kenner, north of I-10, by the mall out here, by the Walmart, you certainly need to be in your tornado safe spot, as that area of rotation has wrapped up very quickly as it moves over parts of the New Orleans metro. So this is going to be well west of New Orleans. This is going to be west of most of Metairie. Most of your cell phones going off in Metairie, you're going to be okay with this. River Ridge, Harahan, I think you're going to be okay. It's just this area of spin right there, crossing close to where the old Esplanade Mall is and heading up towards anywhere between kind of the Walmart Supercenter and the mall. It needs to be in your tornado safe spot. That's where this area of rotation is going to be tracking. And of course, right there, heading towards the north. And that's going to be mainly west of Williams Boulevard. So running west of Williams. So if you live east of Williams and Kenner, you're going to be okay, it looks like. There may still be some gusty winds, but that tornado threat is going to be mainly west of Williams Boulevard and now lake-bound on I-10. So if you're on I-10 looking towards the lake, that's kind of this area in between I-10 and Williams and the lake. Just imagine there's a box right there. That's where that rotation is traveling, and this is going to be heading towards the lake, as I said, at about 25 miles per hour. So if you're just joining us, let me recap here. A lot of cell phones going off in the New Orleans metro for Kenner and Metairie. It is 3:23. We've got our new tornado warning that is going to be mainly for Kenner. So if you're in Metairie, River Ridge, Harahan, you're looking okay. It's going to be for Kenner, west of Williams Boulevard. So we're talking I-10 and west of Williams Boulevard, Esplanade Mall, the Supercenter, Walmart out in this area is where that area of rotation is going to be tracking. Moving north, it is moving north at a good rate, about 25 miles per hour. There's our latest scan. It looks like it's weakened some, at least the rotation. And I want to look at our debris detector here to see if we're going to have, if we're picking up any debris being lofted. I don't see anything. It's a bit noisy. It doesn't mean something wasn't there. Sometimes the radar can miss it. You know, it's not scanning constantly, but something we're watching. Also, this is definitely going to be producing some extremely heavy rainfall over Kenner right now. You're not going to see there, if there is high winds or tornado, you're not going to see anything because of just how heavy the rainfall is. And that's why, you know, nighttime tornadoes, daytime tornadoes are dangerous, but nighttime ones are even worse because you can't see the things at all. So just our latest radar scans showing that it has weakened a bit, it looks like. This is going to be passing right over West Esplanade Avenue. Loyola Drive up here, of course, Walmart's up in here. The mall is sitting right in there. There's Williams Boulevard. It says 49, but I believe that's Williams. So it's going to be west of there and right along Esplanade, West Esplanade, which is right there. Chateau, the country club's right here, I believe. That's where that's going to be passing over, right over the country club and heading up towards the north, towards the lake. Williams, yeah, that's Williams. Casino up here, and this is going to be traveling right in there. And of course, this is as you get into St. Charles Parish. So that tornado warning is going to go for another, it goes until 4:15, but this is not going to, I don't think this will be needed until 4:15 unless we see a new area of spin wrap up somewhere here in the metro. But right now, this is the main area we are watching as it passes through parts of Kenner. So just some other areas that need to be in your tornado safe spot. It looks like this is going to pass probably west of the casino out here on the lake. This is going to pass, of course, the casino is right there. This is the area of rotation that's going to travel more like this. So this is going to stay west of Williams and west of the casino. There's your latest scan, still producing rotation. That was not a weakening trend. That was kind of holding its own and maintaining its spin there right over, now past West Esplanade and getting closer to, I believe that's Vintage Boulevard. Yeah, Vintage Boulevard as it moves up towards the Chateau, the country club, the golf club up there. And this is going to be heading towards Chateau Elementary School, if you know any of these areas. The Kenner City, the park out here, there's that park right in here. That's going to be where it's very close nearby. That's Vintage Drive, where it's going to be passing over at this point, and it's going to be heading up towards the Joe Yenny Boulevard. So Joe Yenny Boulevard, if you live along there and west of Williams, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. St. Elizabeth Ann School, it needs to be, that area needs to be in their tornado safe spot. And of course, as I mentioned, this is going to be passing very close to the park out here where there's the pavilion and the park area. So we'll continue to watch this tornado warning. That's the area of spin, now moving over Vintage Boulevard. It has not shown signs of getting any stronger. That's certainly good. But nonetheless, you got to take every tornado warning seriously, as these things can wrap up quickly. And, you know, sometimes the radar can even miss these tornado warnings. They don't always catch the tornado. If it develops, it can sometimes develop in between the radar scans. So that beam has to do a full round. And if that tornado drops when the beam's not looking at it, well, then we're not going to see it on radar. So that's why, you know, even if we're not seeing any significant indications of rotation on with this, it is still something you want to take seriously. So now heading up towards past Vintage Drive, getting up towards Joe Yenny Boulevard, and this is going to be moving up closer and closer to the lake. Of course, there's where the lake, where you start to see the lake. And just to give you an idea of where this rotation would be, I mean, it's going to be right in here, smack dab in the heavy, heavy rainfall. It's going to be right in there. You're not going to see it. And, you know, the only way you're going to see if anything's happening is if you see power flashes or something like that. So don't go try to look at this thing. You're not going to see anything. That's the area spin, though. It's somewhat occluding, meaning it is trying to dissipate. It's trying to weaken, but it is certainly still there. The rest of the area, I do want to touch on this. If you're in Metairie, Kenner, River Ridge, Harahan, this does not include you anymore. The threat doesn't, at least. While you're still in this flashing polygon, this is where the threat is highest. It's going to be from I-10 going to the lake up in Kenner and west of Williams Boulevard, which is Williams is right there, that white line where it says 49. That's Williams. It's going to be up here. That's the Treasure Chest Casino, and that's where we're watching our area of rotation, and now getting closer and closer to the lake. And it does look like it's trying to occlude, meaning it's weakening. So that's a good trend that we like to see. And I said this tornado warning, it goes until 4:15. I highly doubt that we see this warning go until the full extent. We'll probably see this expire or be canceled before that. Now, what was likely happen as well, even if there's not a tornado, there's some strong winds that are coming in behind this thing. So that's our area of spin, but there's also this area of pretty high winds kind of wrapping around on the back side of this is certainly possible. So if there is a tornado moving through, you could be getting some backside winds that are coming in here right there as you get into St. Charles Parish, and of course as you cross into Jefferson Parish. Jefferson Parish there. So we'll wait for the Weather Service to see what they want to do on this. You know, we do still have our severe thunderstorm warning, but that was replaced with the tornado warning, as now the tornado area of rotation is moving out to the lake. It's right there on the shoreline, is where it looks like right now. So let me zoom in. This is the area we're watching. That's the casino. There's Williams. There's the shoreline. Joe Yenny Boulevard right here. So it's past that, or it's in between Joe Yenny and the lake is where the area of spin is going to be at its strongest, right in there, now heading out into the lake. So that tornado threat is really dropping on down. Still could see some gusty winds, especially the closer you are to the lake, though, so keep that in mind. Now our transition is going to be to the flooding threat as this moves on in. This is dumping some very heavy rainfall. We do have a flash flood warning for St. Charles Parish. You can see there, that's going to go until 6 a.m. We've picked up 1 to 3 inches, could pick up another 1 to 3 inches. All things should start to wind down in Luling, Booty, Destrehan, and for a big chunk of St. Charles over the next probably 30 minutes or so. So hopefully we start to see some improvements out in St. Charles. But now this heavy rain potential is going to start to move into New Orleans, and we'll be looking at the street flooding problems spread up through the metro. So if you're in New Orleans right now and you're watching us, or if you're in Metairie, you still have a little bit longer to move your cars. You know, neutral grounds have been lifted through this evening, I believe until 6 p.m. the last I heard. So you can move your cars up. Of course, a lot of people are asleep, and the only thing that's going to wake them up is once the heavy rain has started, and then it's kind of too late to go out and move your car. So if you're awake and you know someone who has seen flooding problems in the past, or their car is parked somewhere problematic, call them, wake them up, say, hey, you got a few minutes to move your car. We got some heavy rain moving into the metro. Now, this thing was moving very slow. It did speed up a little bit, and I want to put this in motion here. And you can see there, it's still not moving very fast, though. And this corridor of really heavy rainfall is going to be spreading up through New Orleans, and it's not going to be in a hurry to get on out. So that's what we'll have to be watching as we go through probably the morning commute time frame through at least 6 a.m. And it probably is not going to last until 6, but you know, the street flooding can sometimes linger beyond that. Now, looking at our rain rates, they are maintaining themselves. They've been between about 1 inch to 2 inches an hour. Anywhere you see yellow is at least 1 inch an hour. Now, when you start to get up to 4 inches an hour, that's problematic. We aren't seeing much of that. That's going to be pretty isolated. That little orange area you see there where we were tracking our tornado warning, that's going to be a very, very heavy area of rain. But the rest of the area, yes, it's very heavy, but it's about 1 inch to 2 inches an hour. Now, that's still going to cause street flooding, but we're not talking about the crazy 4 inches an hour that we've seen in the past. So that is something we'll be watching. Rainfall rates, they are going to be heavy, though. Now, if you're watching us down in the bayou parishes, we have some very heavy rainfall extending down into Lafourche now. Now, the good news for Houma, Thibodaux, things look to be wrapping up there. We're getting at least just some light to moderate rain. The heaviest of it's now pushing out to the east. Now going to start to get some heavy rain from Cutoff, LaRose, Galliano, Golden Meadow, Leeville, down towards Port Fourchon as this moves through Lafourche Parish. That could also produce maybe winds up to about 40 miles per hour. These storms moving into New Orleans could produce some gusty winds as well, but as I mentioned, I think we're going to mainly be concerned with the flooding potential. And if you're just waking up, let me update you on this tornado warning. I do think the tornado threat has really come down as this is weakened and it's moved out over the lake at this point, is what it looks like. So that tornado warning, while it technically goes until 4:15, I don't think they're not going to continue this for another 45 minutes, I wouldn't imagine, with it already dissipating, unless we see a new area of spin start to wrap on up. So this is an improving situation with regard to the tornado threat in Kenner and in the Kenner area. Now it's going to be mainly a street flooding threat. And we can see, yeah, we're just waiting on the Weather Service to give us an update on what they're going to do with that tornado warning. I do want to look at our rainfall totals so far, and this has not updated since that heavy rain started over the airport. I can tell you've picked up more than 6/100ths of an inch at the airport. That'll update soon, and we'll get an idea of just how heavy this rain is actually coming down. You know, we have our radar tool to let us know, but the actual data will come in pretty soon from MSY, and we'll have an idea of just how heavy that is coming down. But as I said, it looked like it was about 1 inch to maybe 2 inches an hour at times. So that's what we'll be looking at with our street flooding threat as this moves into the New Orleans metro over the next probably couple of hours or so. And I want to show you as this moved through St. Charles Parish. It started in St. Charles. It started in St. Charles 3 hours ago. At 12:30 is when the rain picked up. You can see there on the top, over my head here. That's 12:30. Watch the time frame. We advance it an hour. Heavy rain really picking up there in St. Charles. We advance it to 2:30, heavy rain continuing in St. Charles, and then as we get towards 3:30, that's when the rain finally started to wind down in St. Charles. So this was about a 3-hour event for for most of St. Charles Parish. Now, this is moving a little bit faster, but it is reasonable to think that this could produce some heavy rainfall across the metro for the next 2 to 3 hours. And that's why we'll have to watch for street flooding. And of course, we just have our flash flood watch right now, but we could eventually see, street flood advisories or even flash flood warnings issued, depending on what this does. So that's what we're going to have to watch as we go through the New Orleans area. Now, it is 3:35. This tornado warning, it technically continues, but the tornado threat has come down. We're going to see if they're going to cancel this tornado warning. The threat is now over the lake, and it has dissipated as well. You can see on our velocity scan that we're not seeing any pronounced rotation signatures anywhere over land. There's some weak over the lake, but even that's fairly minimal. And then there's just some gusty winds down along this line as it moves into the metro. So the severe weather threat actually continues to be fairly low. The main threat is going to be for flooding. But as we've seen all morning, we've seen 2 or 3 tornado warnings here and there, and we're going to finally cancel that tornado warning, it looks like. Just when you hear that noise, that's an update, and we are going to cancel the tornado warning. So I'll tell you what, it is 3:36. We're going to continue to watch this line of storms. Of course, if there's any new updates with significant severe weather, whether it be a tornado warning or significant flash flooding, we are going to be right back here on Channel 4 for you, and on all of our streaming services. Of course, our Eyewitness Morning News will start in about an hour at 4:30, and we'll have full details and what's going on with the weather, and we'll be on from 4:30 till 9 a.m. for sure for the Eyewitness Morning News. But for now, our tornado warning has been canceled. Our flash flood warning continues for St. Charles. Heavy rainfall moving into the New Orleans metro, and we're going to continue to track this, and if there's any new updates, we'll be right back here.